We like looking around cars. If it's a car park, a showroom, we're looking at them. And we're here at Tom Lenthall Limited today, working on a video that you might have seen where Tony has 24 hours to fix the blue Jaguar and he can keep it. But while he's doing that, we've got some time. Let's have a look around. No one's here. Tom Lenthall's not here, the owner. He won't let us open doors and look behind things, but he's not here to stop us today. There is one issue here that we don't know that much about Jags.
No, these are Jags.
These are Jaguars. There is something I do want to take an issue with. This is in a Mazda MX-5, and this belongs to Tom Lenthall.
What? That's ridiculous.
What are you doing, mate?
There's been two massive revelations to do with Tom Lenthall in the last month or two. One, we found out recently that he is a cyclist. Two, we found out that he owns this MX-5 and has done.
Tom Lenthall's stock going down right now. XK8s, Jaguar XKs, lots of them. We got 1, 2, 3, 4. There's going to be 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Clearly, if you want a reliable Jaguar, these might not be the ones to go for.
There is a supercharged Range Rover. That's a 4.2 supercharged Range Rover. I think that's quite cool.
You like the idea of a 5-litre supercharged.
I like the idea of a 5-litre supercharged Range Rover. It's idiotic. That's exactly why I'd like to try it.
Just when you're the only human that got lucky on a Range Rover that hasn't broken, you've decided, you know what, give me some pain.
Crank up the pain.
The other thing to note is because Tom Lenthall is a English car specialist, everything's green.
It is.
It's all green.
It's a sea of greens, blues, and the odd sort of black and silver. What's this, XJS?
That is a classic XJS. Is he a V12? He's a V12, lovely.
XK, 4.2, this is like an early 4.2.
Early one.
I think these look quite cool.
I think they've aged well.
The normal XK doesn't interest me.
An XKR.
Or an XKRS. With the cool wheels.
An XKR with the RS wheels, lowered spacers.
An XK. With the number plate Pastu. A Range Rover L322 in what most people believe is their usual form.
The Queen spec.
This is flat tyres, slightly sagging S suspension.
S-Type, is it an R?
S-Type?
No, it's a normal S-Type.
No, it's just a normal guy.
S-Type R, if you're looking for something very cheap and quite quick, S-Type R is a good idea. So 4.2 litre. V12. That's V12.
Yeah.
What are you? It's something quite old.
It did sound a bit Aston V12-y.
But it's like old.
It could also be 6.
No, I'm thinking he's 12.
Before we carry on walking around Tom's workshop, we wanted to let you know that today's video is sponsored by Febi Bilstein.
That's right, Febi have partnered with us for the next year and will be supporting all of our upcoming builds.
Now, if you've been following the channel for a while, you will have seen Febi Bilstein parts fitted to a load of our builds, including this, and this, lots on this, and soon to be this.
Now, Febi offers OE matching quality parts, but without the dealer price tag. That's why Tom Lenthall even uses them. And their parts are widely available wherever you tend to shop for your car parts.
Now, this might look like a Ferrari, but underneath it is a JDM Toyota MR2. And fortunately, Febi has a sister brand called Blueprint, and they cater to all Asian makes.
As I mentioned before, Febi parts are available basically wherever you buy your parts, eBay, Autodoc, and the like. But every single Febi part comes with a 3-year warranty. So any issues, you can get it sent back and get it resolved.
Now, this is the Febi parts finder, and this is my favorite bit of searching for bits. So if I just put my number plate in up here, this is for the Megane, and then you get this list of bits, and that's just general. You can go through the groups, you can go into brakes, brake fluid, brake fitting kits, brake discs, brake pads, brake sensors, everything. So all you need, number plate, or just search for any car, and you can find the list of parts that Febi or Blueprint have all on there. So we'll put a link to that in the description below, so make sure you check it out, put your details in, and see what you can get. And thank you to Febi for sponsoring this video.
S-Type R.
S-Type.
Normal S-Type doesn't really do anything for me, but the S-Type R, 4.2 litre, supercharged.
Yeah.
And we looked at them for this series. You can get them for like $3.5 grand.
Yeah,
they're like a cheap one.
Some less, but it'll be painful.
For you.
This,
I like this.
The XKRs of this gen, what is it, an X100? Jag, one thing Jag do get right, you can hate Jag all you like, bonnet vents.
Always.
They're getting that British car stuff, they're getting vents right.
Also, these Jag XKs really don't do much for me. However, Die Another Day spec, that's him. He's
also, some fantastic wheel choices on these, and we'll get to, there's another really great wheel on one of these ones here. We'll get to that in a minute.
Here he is, the guy I was literally talking about,
S-Type
R. Sorry, behind it. I didn't realise there was an S-Type R here. Very good value for money. I think they're quite cool and smart looking.
These wheels...
Now, these are a bit worse for wear.
Well, I think one version is called a BBS Paris. I think there's a couple of other versions of it.
These are...
But they're great. Basically, if you see one of these from the rear, they've got like 295 tyres. They look real nice. They look real butch, but I like these.
Next to it, another speciality, other than just Jags and Land Rovers with Tom Lenthall, is building race cars, especially Jaguar ones. This is not his one, this is a friend of his. Looking like it needs some recommissioning, but still cool.
Still looks very, very cool.
Next to it, I like these a lot. It's a 4-door, I forget if this is an XJC, I want to say. A 4-door, I prefer the 2-door. We'll get to a very cool one in a bit, but this I would assume is the basis for a restoration, or perhaps one of Tom Lenthall's many automobiles that he owns.
What's in Tom Lenthall's bin?
What's in the bin?
Brake disc?
Oh, lovely. Wouldn't mind one of those.
An old piece of radiator.
Springs, perhaps.
Springs. Not as interesting as I thought it was going to be,
And
unfortunately.
a fuel tank. That looks like our car, but not right now. This, I believe Tom Lenthall said this is also his as potential donor for his race car. Might be wrong. A couple of NPC cars, not particularly interesting. This, very rare, quite cool, TWR XJS, body kit, later stuff, the wheels, all that sort of stuff. I think there's a load of engine fettling bits. These are cool, I like these.
This is cool.
Next to it, this is Tom Lenthall's actual race car.
This sounds cool.
Incredible. Right now, I believe it makes 400 horsepower from a 4-litre engine. That's quite nice. And a load of torque.
There is a gripe though.
We spoke to Tom about this and said, do you like your wheels? And he went, well, what, you don't like my wheels? I went, no, I don't like your wheels, Tom. But we already knew why he did it before we even asked him. They were the lightest and cheapest wheels he could get to fit over the big brakes he has. He needs 18-inch wheels. So kind of fair, because they
just feel wrong.
Yeah, they feel wrong. They're too new.
They're a 2010s, 2020s wheel on a...
Someone's Golf R is on bricks right now.
Yeah, 100%.
Someone's missing their wheels.
Yeah.
This, I like these a lot, these V12 Vantages. It is a V12, but there is one big issue I have.
We've seen this car because this came to the unit before.
This is another one of Tom's cars. I like the spec, I like all of it. If you follow us through here, it is an automatic, so there's one little minus point, but hey, you're still an Aston Martin with a V12.
It's fine.
That
is factory.
I believe it's called a Works package is what it's called. They replaced the standard rear lights, which to be fair, are stolen lights from a Mazda 626, I believe is what they're from. But what you've traded is Mazda 626 lights for bus lights.
Yeah, something out of a coach.
And Tom gets when he watches this video, he won't see us because he's not here. He's going to be very annoyed that I said this because I already said it to him in person. He wasn't happy. They were on the car.
That's pretty rare.
They were on the car when I bought it, so I don't care. But at the end of the day, Tom Lenthall's driving home in a V12 Aston, and I'm not, so he kind of wins.
That's fair.
But this is cool. This is another car that it's our soft spot.
These are cool.
This is really cool. So, like I talked about over there, the 4-door, this is the 2-door version. I believe it's a 6.6, the V12. It doesn't say Jaguar, it says Lister. And if you're a car nerd, especially a British car nerd, you'll know that means quick and that means cool. This basic engine has been completely reworked. It is a very rare car in and of itself. And then on top of that, Tom Lenthall has, if we come over here, said, I think I'll have it in manual. Thank you very much. So it's been swapped over to manual. I think from what he said, it's some form of super gearbox. It might be an R154, not too sure. But this thing's very cool. He came to a company dinner in it the other night. There may or may not have been some wheels that spun. There may or may not have been some black tyre tracks.
Tom, he pulled up alongside us and thought he's just going to leave. And we just heard, bum, 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 da. And away he went.
And it was really quite cool.
Real 17-year-olds back.
This is one of the cars I'm most jealous of all of his cars.
A big coupe like this. Oh. When you add 4 doors, it gets a little bit more old man, but when it looks like this...
Also, have you seen so lots of old English cars, they will stamp the original number plate into the glass on the car. So if it gets stolen, they can find out. If you steal a car and just change the plates, it's much harder to change all the glass. Well, have you seen what the number plate was originally?
That's quite cool.
That's a cool number plate. 123 MPH.
That is very cool.
That's very cool. This one's in here. These are just the cars outside. Let's go inside.
Tony's had a bit of a setback, but now Tom's here, so we're going to look around some cars.
Can we start with the idiots?
Oh yeah,
automobile over here.
Yeah.
Nothing to worry about. Don't worry about it.
Stolen.
Yeah, it's stolen. I've been hiding it for Rory.
Which madman owns this car?
Okay, well this is actually my one. I've had lots of old cars over the years, and I've built lots of E-types, and I wanted to do one for myself for a long time. And I bought this about 5 years ago, and I've been slowly but surely doing it.
And you've been working on it at home, and now you've brought it here.
Yeah. So what the idea was I was going to build it myself, which I did, but I'm having some building work done at home, so I had to bring it in. So I've been finishing the last little bits off, but it now starts, runs and drives. Interior goes in next week. Supposed to be taking it to Shedfest.
Okay.
This is the least shed car.
Which is in about 3 weeks, 4 weeks time, something like that. Yeah, so it should be at Shedfest, hopefully, touch wood and all that.
When you bought it, what state was it in?
Oh, total restoration, absolutely.
Full restoration?
Done.
And now,
absolutely done.
I mean, Jay, if you choose anywhere on this car to look at. Choose any bolt, choose any nut. It is lovely.
Cliche, but eat your dinner off it.
Yeah. And then also, not just that, but it's Tom, so you had to throw some spice on it. So that's fuel injection.
So that's a fuel injection rail. It's got all standalone engine management system, but these are... So most of the standalone engine management systems we do, we take different manifolds, we put generally throttle bodies on, all that kind of stuff. But this is actually, these are the original carbs, which I've modified to take fuel injection. So these are SU carburetors, but they're now throttle bodies.
Right. So and I was talking to someone about this last night, and he said, yeah, there's one other guy that you know that has done it.
There's a couple of other people out there that have played around with it, and my mate Tom Barkley, he's got a system which he does.
But if you just want the system, you could just put throttle bodies on it. But you were like, no, I want this to be...
No, I wanted it to look a bit more authentic, and you know, there are other things you can do. So, but my mate Tom is actually making a kit where you can actually do that. And instead of having, like, I've got a coil pack down here, but he's managed to he's got a distributor with a pickup in it, so you can actually run an original looking Dizzy. So it's getting more and more. Yeah. There's a few of us who are developing stuff, and it's gonna. We're not too far away from a day where you'll lift the bonnet and you won't be able to tell the difference, and you'll just go, okay, it's got fuel injection.
Jay was looking at this earlier. We were stood around it. He was looking at all the nuts and bolts on it. So none of them have they've been undone and done up at times. They're all just immaculately clean.
Look, I mean, because I built it, I can go around and go, I'm not quite happy with that, and I'm not. Do you know what I mean? It's but I'm really pleased with this one because I've built everything.
Firstly, Tom, this is what this car basically started out as, right?
Yeah. So
it all looked like this.
The components that I took off, they're in that sort of condition, if not worse.
And now it's like this.
And now it's not this. I mean,
so it started life as a normal E-Type.
1964 3.8 Series 1 E-Type. Okay, so a standard steel-bodied car, and I wanted to build it to what you call semi-lightweight spec because I just think it's cool. Yeah, and that effectively, from a bodywork point of view, means that it's got bigger rear arches,
which look very cool.
And then I widen the rear axle, and then we put the Dunlop wheels on, which I really like.
Can you please do the nerdy bit that we talked about last night? Because I like that a lot.
So if you look up here, that's what you call an XK SS, which was the road-going version of a D-Type. And when we went to Le Mans, they all run Dunlop wheels, and you can see that's got Dunlop written on it, and they've got the holes in them are round. Whereas if you go to an E-Type, semi-lightweight E-Type's always had rectangular holes.
They're not round.
They're not round. But I love the three-eared spinners. I think they're brilliant.
That's just a little bit of nerd knowledge that Tom said, and I was like, I like that.
Also, you've done all of the dynamat inside. Obviously, an older car like this was never going to have.
So that's one of those sort of like really contradictory things. You know, I'm building a semi-lightweight car because we want to make it lighter, don't we, to make it go faster. But I'm making a semi-lightweight car because I like the look of it.
Yeah, fair.
And I'm going to drive this down through Europe, and you know, I want it to be a good, usable car. Me and the wife are going to go and take it. So
you don't want the ears to bleed.
Dynamat in the inside of one of these cars when you're building them makes the most unbelievable difference.
And there's one other thing that you don't understand why we think it's cool, but we all think it's really cool.
It's great.
It's at the front.
I've never been amazed by a bottle of screen wash in my whole life. Look at that. I saw that. I thought that must be aftermarket, but Tom, that's like an original.
That's how they were when they left the factory.
That's glass.
Yeah.
It's just cool.
That's just great.
That is a new reproduction one.
But still,
that's just.
But that's how the S&G Barretts do those.
You know what that is? They don't make them like they used to.
They really don't make them like they used to. Oh, look at the exhaust.
Yeah. I'll put cats on it as well.
That is quite cool.
Yeah.
Is this like a ceramic type?
That's ceramic coated tubular manifolds, And then this is the first car that I've ever built with catalytic converters on like an old car. And I was like, honestly, when we first started it up and I was running it, I was like, wow, you know, normally it stinks the workshop out. It just didn't. I was like, it works, and my wife's going to be really happy because he's not going to stink when she gets out of it.
This manifold is that what the originals look like?
No.
Or is that is
stupid. Originally they were like a cast iron manifold.
Just like a log looking.
Just only about so. See, this is an old school E-Type trick, which not everyone does these days.
Is that a piece of wood?
That's a piece of wood, Because people would put jacks underneath them and jack them up and damage picture frames. So you put a bit of hard wood in there and just cable tie in place. So if you've got to jack it up, you can do it without damaging anything. Because if you look underneath, I've painted the whole of the underneath of the car because I didn't want to. Well, because I can, I suppose.
Also, some people that you might not be as mechanically inclined. Come have a look in here, Jay. What's missing from that photo? Where's his brakes? Because they're inboard, they're here. How cool's that?
Yeah.
Inboard brakes, that's cool.
Feels like motorsport.
Yeah, it feels like racing.
So yeah. So anyway, look, this is a really, really cool thing, and it
is really cool.
Just sort
Just let us know when you want us to.
I'll let you know when it's ready for a test.
Yeah,
of course. Yeah, no problem. Right, should we go and look at the engines? So this is a 6-cylinder engine. So that style of engine is what you call an XK engine, which was what they did with XK 120 when that first came out back in 1947, 6, something like that, right? That engine ran right the way up until 85.
Jesus.
Right.
I think was the last car to have it in, which would have been a Series 3 XJ, and then we went XJ40.
Okay, yeah.
And then they came out with the AJ6 engine, okay, which is a more modern multi-valve engine. And then the last version of that was what we call the AJ16, and that's what this is. And this went up to 1996.
Okay.
Okay, so after 1996, then they stopped making the straight sixes, and we went V8. This one's a bit special because this is for one of the race cars. So these got all raised pistons in it, so JE pistons, Carilla rods, knife edge crank, and all that sort of stuff.
You were saying last night, this is a 4-litre engine.
4 litre
and
straight
it
six.
Already makes how much?
400 brake. The one that's in my car makes 400
brake. And the horsepower isn't even the interesting thing on these. They make a load of torque as well.
Yeah, I think the torque's 550 or something like that.
And yet you're like, more.
Yeah, well, there's no point building another race engine if you're not going to go for more, is there?
Fair.
It's just really, otherwise it's pointless, isn't it?
Yeah.
I don't, rinse and repeat's not really my thing. So, if I can help it.
So you're hoping around about 450 on this?
We are going for about 450-ish, yeah. So we've done some. Look, the bottom end of any engine is what builds you your strength and makes the engine rev fast and pick up quickly. So that's what the bottom end's all about. And if you get your compression ratios right and you get the, the valve, what happens in the cylinder head is your gas flowing. Getting correct compression ratios and messing around with camshafts is what really gains you the power. So we're messing around a lot in the cylinder head on this project, and we should hope to get an extra 50 brake horsepower.
But this is done now. The bottom end's done. You just need the top. You just need
well, at the moment, what I've actually done is we've just put one piston in. So what we'll do is put one piston in. I'll put the rest of the timing gear on. The cylinder head's done. So then what we do is we measure the volumes. So basically we measure how much volume there is in the cylinder. So we work out our compression ratio. And then we're also going to make sure that none of the valves don't hit on the top of the piston.
Yeah.
So we put what we call plastic gauge in there. So it's like basically plasticine, blue tack, that kind of thing, in here. And then we turn the engine over and make sure that we've got enough gap between the valve and the top of the piston. Sometimes we have to machine the piston because we might have overdone it a little bit. Yeah. That has happened before.
What we like to do, Tom, is we just let the engine run, and it just kind of we call it self-clearancing.
Yeah,
self-clearancing.
It'll sort itself out.
Yeah. No, I'm a little bit more technical than that. A little bit more methodical, I suppose. Is the right way. So anyway, we've got to do our checking on this, and then if everything checks out okay, then we're into final assembly. So this engine will get on the dyno second part of the race season, and we'll try it out.
It will make cool noises and big power.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Yeah. Never say, nothing's ever guaranteed with race stuff. The thing is, the way you learn about how to get more power out of an engine and the rest of it is by getting it wrong.
We actually know that quite well.
Yeah.
Tony's experiencing it as we speak.
Sometimes we do learn by our mistakes too often. But anyway, so there you go.
We don't.
Yeah.
No.
So there you go. That's early straight six, late straight six. So this is one that's just finished being built for a customer's 77 coupe. So the 77 coupe normally has a 5.3 litre engine.
It's just a little bit bigger.
This one's 6 litre. So yeah, but this is a standard 6 litre engine. It's not like, so Jag went 6 litre in 89. I think it was something like that. Very late 80s, they went 6 litre. So this is a standard 6 litre engine.
Right.
So we're just literally just swapping it out. You can big bore the 5.3s, and you can take these up to sort of 7+ litre. But yeah, 6 litre engine's a good strong engine. So, and again, it's just
everything's
I spend
nice.
probably too much time making it. It's got to look good, isn't it?
It has to look good.
Do you know what I mean?
I mean, it's a V12.
Exactly. You can't not.
Yeah.
The way I look at it is, I've got to be happy to put it in my front room, before it goes in the car. Otherwise, we haven't done a good enough job.
What's the point in ever having it?
Yeah, and this one's going to have fuel injection and a few other bits and pieces. So we've got a trigger wheel on the front crank pulley there, and yeah, it's just going to be a nice, solid engine. This will do probably about 360 to 370 brake.
Yeah. So it's not like a race engine or anything.
No. This is a fast. It's a
that
good
would be
road
fast.
engine. Yeah, but it's going to have 500+ newton meters of torque, 550.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's just enough.
Yeah, for a car like that as well.
Yeah. It's plenty. Yeah. So this is one of the last of line V12. So we finished making V12s in '96. This is a late XJS engine, and then down over here is an early V12 engine. So that's one of the early V12 engines. So that's going in an E-type. So that's 5.3, and we've put later fuel injection on it, so it's 6 litre manifolds with our engine management system. That's going into a Restomod E-type that we're building for a customer.
Oh, nice.
Perhaps the one through that room.
That is the one that's in the welding room next door, yeah. We're going to have a look at that.
We need to look at that because it's quite cool. So the XFR's coming in here in like hour and a half,
Yeah, this is where we weld up the cars. Yeah, again, this one was completely rotten. This has had floors, inner and outer seals. We've put all strengthening sections in it. We're not going to put standard Series 3 back end on it. We're going to sort of like make it look like a Series 1 because I think the back end's a bit cooler and that's what the client wants. Again, it'll have an aluminium bonnet. Yeah, and it's going to have that V12 lump put in it, and
Basically, Tom just makes cars cool.
Yeah.
It's all we could ever want.
It's years of, literally years of doing it. You know, it's just and I don't know how many cars I've built from scratch. It's quite a few. I don't think there's any two the same.
No. Yeah.
No, everyone goes, oh, I want this or I want that, or there's something.
Well, like your one out there, you've got, I want, this is the base, but I'm going to have, this is the body, but I want it quiet inside, so we're going to do this. And,
I can't remember the last time we did 2 cars the same.
No.
But yeah, it's a lot of work. You've got to be dedicated to it, you know.
Oh, I think you are.
Yeah. I think we've done one or two.
Also, Tom only turned up at 1 on a Saturday. Crazy. Half day, is it?
Phone's going off at midnight last night.
But anyway, so maybe that gives you some idea of the sort of stuff we do.
So yeah, if you have an older Jaguar, perhaps not an XFR, don't call us, call Tom.
Yeah.
Probably a smarter idea.
You've got much more money than we do.
Yeah.
Speak to Tom. Speak to Tom.
Yeah, these are not cheap things to mess around with. I can't do that. There's a lot of labour goes into them.
Also, there's one other thing that has been in the background that we haven't mentioned yet that we should show.
So this is our parts car.
As you see. Tom, this is what we've pulled off it so far.
Have you really? I'm not sure if the owner will be overly happy about that.
Kindly donated by another YouTuber.
Oh, yeah.
Which I don't think he would maybe refer to himself. So this is... I guess he is. He's got quite a lot of influence.
He's had influence on me.
Mostly.
Yes.
This is, of course, Harry Metcalf.
Yeah, this is Harry's PA.
Yeah.
So,
this is
So what is, for those that don't know, what is this?
Okay, PA is a Jaguar XE that they built 211, 12, 13, or Harry will tell me the right number. He always tells me off when I get the numbers wrong. They built it specifically to beat the Nürburgring record. So it is the fastest production saloon car around the Nürburgring with a lap time of 7 minutes 18 seconds. I think
It's quite fast.
Which is pretty nippy.
Quick.
Yeah. But it's just a bespoke build. I mean, they just went, whoever the biggest petrol heads are within Jaguar, they just turned around to them and said, here's a massive budget, go and beat this record.
Yeah.
I'd hate to think how much each car cost to build, but they would have lost money on every single car. I'm very, very sure of that.
So it's the 5 litre supercharged engine. I was going to say similar to the one in that, but it's probably a lot.
Well, it's pretty
got
much
the smaller pulley on it, got the tune right that you would do.
pretty much the same thing. So it's 5 litre supercharged, 600 brake, 700 newton metres of torque, 4-wheel drive.
Are they 4-wheel drive?
They're all 4-wheel drive.
I had no idea of that.
That's news to me.
I thought they were
That's
rare.
really bothered me, that fact.
4-wheel drive, ceramic brakes, bespoke suspension, carbon everywhere. The only 2 panels that are original are the roof, I think it was, and the front doors. Everything else has changed.
I was going to say, because even that's normally a thing with like wide arch cars, is that often the hardest thing to do is then you have to change an entire door.
Yeah.
You'll see it on some cars where they'll just have on like
so
factory
the rear
cars, they keep the door.
well, every panel is bespoke apart from the roof and the doors, the front doors.
Also, these are all left-hand drive.
They're all left-hand drive,
And that's because of
the 4-wheel drive system. They couldn't.
Because of the 4-wheel drive.
Yeah, it wasn't because of the V8 engine. It was because of the 4-wheel drive.
Because we said we really
Do you know what?
a V8
I
XE.
looked at this and I thought, okay, right, it makes sense now.
Yeah, there's a drive shaft up there. That makes sense.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, they're all
No
4-wheel
wonder
drive.
it's very, very fast.
We were saying last night that it's the sort of stuff in your head you think you just chuck a bigger engine in a car and it goes quicker. But all of these, like, just the undertrays. Someone spent months developing new undertrays that make it faster.
So there's more undertrays. A lot of the undertrays are off for this at the moment. We've been doing some work. So it's really, really flat underneath.
Yeah.
It's a proper quick.
Cats get rid of those.
Yeah, there we go. Little smaller pulley. Don't bother with the timing chain, and away we go.
And also, you like these so much, you bought one.
I did buy one, yeah. I did. Told off quite a lot, but I did it. Anyway, I got a phone call from a customer saying, you always said if I was going to sell this car, you'd be interested, and I am selling it. And I was like, oh, okay. And he goes, he said, I'm trading it in, and they've offered me X amount. And he goes, but I really wanted to go to enthusiasts, and I really want you to have it, so you can have it for X amount. And I just went, yeah, right, straight away. And then spent the next 3 weeks
trying to work out how.
Funding
the math.
it. The math didn't work. I had to make them work.
It's a future investment. That's all you have to tell yourself.
Well, the thing is,
it's only
they're
gonna
rare.
go up.
You know, I mean, go and find another one.
It's 4 words. Better than a pension.
Yeah, I don't think that investing in cars, for me personally, has been a bad thing.
There you go.
Yeah.
And look, and now you out there, just go ahead and buy them.
I don't have a pension.
There you go.
There we go.
Neither do we. I
I
don't
have
think.
a car collection.
Yeah.
We just walked around your pension.
Exactly. Yeah. So I don't, you know.
That's what the title of this video is going to become.
Yeah.
A tour of Tom Lenthall's pension.
I don't trust bankers. They're rubbish.
I do trust V8s though.
Yeah, but I trust the V8. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so
This is cool. And Tom, what are your thoughts on the car just to the left on the ramp?
You want to know my genuine opinion of an XFR?
Yeah. Go
I think that's a brilliant car. Right, these came out. Right, so XF came out in 07. So
Right.
I was still working in the main dealer when the XF came out. And then at the time they did what they called the SV8.
Which is
The
4.2.
Which is the 4.2 engine. So we had S-Type R, right, which S-Type R was actually, S-Type's not everyone's cup of tea, but an S-Type R was actually an awesome car. But then when they did it, they didn't want to call it an R, they called it an SV8 in the 4.2 format, which is a really, really good car. And then when the 5 litre came along, that was when they really started making the XFR. And I was like, first time I drove one, I was like, oh my God. You know, so when they did S-Type R, it was to beat up the BMW 5 Series, and it had more horsepower than the BMW.
Yeah.
And it was quicker than the BMW. You know, and I actually think that an S-Type R was a better car to drive than an XKR. It handled better. It just, and I also like saloon cars. I'm a bit biased.
Yeah.
When they first came out in 09, we put one on the dyno because Jaguar had genuine 500 or 500 brake horsepower. We're like, it's not going to have 500 brake horsepower. There's no way it'll have 500 brake horsepower. So we put it on the dyno, and it had like 501, 502, and I couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
So then we thought, right, well, let's map it then. And literally within a week of them coming out, we had one on the dyno and we had it pumping out 625 brake horsepower. I couldn't believe it. I just could not believe it. So we had a pulley for it, put a set of air filters in it and mapped it over 600 brake horsepower. It was the cheapest 100 horsepower I've ever got in my life, ever.
And the pulley that you developed is the pulley that's on this, is it not?
Yeah, what happened was when they first came out, I was working with a company that does a lot of tuning stuff, and you know them as Vizu. Back then it was Paramount Performance, and we'd already been making the pulleys for the 4.2 stuff. And Paul, who's run the company, just said, "Oh, can we do one for the 5 litre?" I said, "Yeah, let's pop it off and we'll do it." And so I knocked up the first pulley and we put it on there, and it was like, I was like, wow, that really just happened. And we sold loads of them, but we were like, why not? I think at the time it was like, I don't even think it's any more expensive now. I think it's like 1,400 quid for a pulley, an air filter,
and a tune,
and a tune.
And you're at 600 plus horsepower.
More than 600 horsepower. Come on. That's like the cheapest horsepower in the world. You know? So we just, so I was blown away, and we've done loads of XFRs and loads of XKRs and stuff like that. And then the sort of like, they did the XFRS.
The real cool one. Yeah.
They're good. It's got carbon all over them. And
we were talking and saying how cool it would have been if they had have just done an XFR sport brake. Just a wagon XFR. So a little bit more subtle.
They did an XFRS sport brake.
Yeah, but if they had just done an R.
Did they not do an R?
No, but this as a wagon, that would be, as a sleeper, that would be cool.
But the XFRS...
Then that as a sport wagon is cool.
The sports brake one of them is pretty cool. I've driven a few of those. It's just, it's an estate car.
Yeah, exactly. It shouldn't be doing it.
Wicked. So I think this is a brilliant car.
Yeah.
And I think the bang for buck on them now is amazing, isn't it?
Well, this
Unless you drive it like
great
a
bang.
Huge bang.
Yeah.
Massive bang.
If you look after it properly.
We've obviously got the green one
Yeah.
now, which was even less than this car was. But yeah, I think people are put off because it's a Jag.
Yeah.
If you go out there, let's just say you've set yourself a £10,000-15,000 budget.
Couldn't imagine.
No, I can't imagine
You
that.
can't,
But if you did, you'd get a good one.
If you had a 10-15 grand budget and you go out and buy yourself a sub 60,000 mile one of these, which you can do,
Yeah.
you've got yourself something amazing.
Yeah,
You know,
for the
what
money.
was it, 65 grand new, something like that?
So yeah, I think we
probably,
said.
Yeah, they would have been in that region all day long, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that's a great car.
Well, there you go. Tom seal of approval.